It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
From picturesque Oheka Castle in Huntington, the site of so many special lifetime commitments. Today, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents Preston Carey's commitment to college right here on Varsity Media. Hope we didn't just scare Preston off there. He just left the room. He heard enough. Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi, with you here on Varsity Media for a truly special occasion here tonight. It's a lifetime experience for Preston Carey, right? A lifetime of work, which is boiling down to a super important decision for him, for his family, for his football future.
Yeah, I mean, Preston, he's been in the spotlight, it seems like forever, and I mean, what a wonderful day, wonderful way to do it here at Oheka Castle, and you know, a lot of friends, a lot of family, and a lot of mentors as well. It's going to be something special.
Yeah, we'll speak to the man himself. We'll speak to a lot of people who were instrumental in his football upbringing, bringing up as well from a young man playing early football in Northport to where he is now. But who is Preston Carey, right? For the casual viewer who are maybe not as aware, let's show you a little bit of his profile here. Big boy, right? 6'5", 300, down at IMG Academy in the class of 2026. Four-star recruit currently, right? That's like 4.75. He is inching closer to that five-star recruit. You see there, Max Preps All-American, FBU Adidas All-American, the number one ranked D lineman in the state of Florida. No joke right there. 50 Division I offers all together, which started before he even entered St. Anthony's High School. LSU, before he walked in, said, "We want you." Others followed, and here we are with 50 Division I offers.
Yeah, it all started in the 8th grade, getting up to 50 now, and he did it in New York, went down to Florida, and he continued his success at IMG.
So from those 50, it went down to 7, and we'll show you a little bit of a map here of where these 7 are. If we're a little bit off location-wise, don't yell at us here, but you see the difference. I mean, look, a lot of schools, right, in the SEC. You see them all down there in the lower portion here, the southeast. Rutgers up here, Ohio State, and then USC. Those were all part of his top 7, but that changed as of, yesterday morning, right? An announcement, breaking news, and here are the top 4.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. I mean, of course, Carey out of Long Island, getting national recognition, you know, the best schools across all of the country, so many offered, and it's down to these 4. Of course, the entire SEC wanted a piece of Preston Carey, as they would, you know, really want him to be part of the program. 3 of them made it: Florida, Georgia, and Auburn, but Rutgers as well.
So we'll speak to Preston Carey when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Going, Israel Bonikunda, running back for the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
And back here at Oheka Castle, Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi, and momentarily walking through those doors, the man of the hour, Preston Carey. We'll talk to him obviously in a second, but what is going through his mind, the situation, this is a major college commitment.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes on the big man. It's been like that since he's, like 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, it seems like everyone in the nation is watching to see, where he goes, the waves that, he's created. It's been special.
And as you said, it happened even before he walked into St. Anthony's, right? Goes down to LSU. An offer on that visit was beating up guys 4 or 5 years older than him, right? So already made things known, was a handful of players as a freshman to start at St. Anthony. Started both ways on both sides of the line, and there you see Preston Carey walking in to the room, and we will get him over here momentarily for his interview. So I'll have Preston grab the headset here. And here he is. Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi, the man of the hour, Preston Carey. Preston, start things off with you. The simplest of questions. How do you feel?
I feel great. I've said it a couple times already tonight. I'm just ready to reveal my decision and get back to work.
Yeah, and Preston, you've been waiting like basically your whole life for, this moment. What is it like here at Oheka Castle, with, a lot of friends and family and mentors in attendance?
Yes, sir. It's a blessing. When I had this idea, it was just, everything I do is at a high level, so why not do it at Oheka Castle, But no, I'm just blessed to be able to, make my announcement to a school like this and go where I'm going to go. I'm excited.
What I liked, too, what you did here was, there's 4 different schools who are like, what is he wearing? Is he wearing our tie? What are the colors?
Neutral.
We're just going all black.
Yeah.
I like it. Good decision. But yeah, I mean, this venue, like you said, incredible. Dad says you're a big Great Gatsby fan. So,
yeah, of course.
This kind of helps that well.
100%.
And Preston, of course, you went to IMG your junior year, but you're doing it back home on the island. So, of course, we're asking you how you're feeling, but all of it coming together must be awesome.
100% it is. It's great to do this back home, too. I love giving back to the island and, putting on for the island. A lot of players are doing that. Some simple names, some missing a lot. But you got like Rucker, Lauby, who are in the league, and obviously KJ Duff and Ian Strong who are doing it at the Big Ten level, too. But, there's a lot of people that are, putting on for the island and representing Long Island football, and we need more of that. So,
Preston, we know there's a lot of people here to talk to you, and before you make your announcement, we'll get you back. We'll talk to you about the actual announcement. But if there are those younger football players on Long Island right now wanting to follow in your shoes, wanting to make that step, what's some words of advice you have for them?
100%. I think, first of all, obviously you got to want it. Unfortunately, no one can instill the want in you. So, you got to have that conversation with yourself in the mirror. And then outside of that, I think just getting with some of the best trainers on the island. I work right now at Peak Training System with Golden O'Connor and Ben Brokaw. And, I've been training with them since I was in the 6th grade. And they've helped me build a great foundation to be a good player on the field. So, definitely, I think just, having a conversation with yourself and knowing how bad you want it. And then going somewhere, whether it's with them or somewhere else, Revolution Athletics out east or a local gym even, and just getting the work in. It's really important to, work hard and be consistent with that.
Yeah, well said. Preston, we'll let you get back to some of your previous engagements here. A lot of people here want to talk to you. We will get you back as well when you make your commitment. That is Preston Carey. We'll take another break here. You're watching his commitment on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Merrill towards the end zone, lost his lid, touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete, controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
back here at Ohika Castle, you see the room where Preston Carey will make his college announcement shortly. Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi, joined here with his dad, Ben Carey, who has obviously been with Preston from the very beginning and this whole journey as well. What I love, at least about you, is it's not, we don't just have you on because you're Preston's dad. You have been such an instrumental part of not only his career but other football players here on Long Island with the Long Island Elite program you have. So you're a guy who obviously wants the best for your son, but you want the best for serious football players on Long Island as well.
Without a doubt. Tonight we're celebrating his achievement and his choice, but so much more than that. We're celebrating 15 years of raising the level of Long Island football, which my partner Gerald and Filardi and I have been doing, as well as a ton of guys that both you and Jared both know, right? There's been a collective movement to raise the level of Long Island football, and it's been awesome. It's a celebration of every one of those kids, KJ Duff, Ian Strong, Josiah Brown, Caden Brown, Joseph Filardi. There's so many kids that have just come through the program, and that's what it's about for me.
For sure.
Yeah, and years ago, for Long Island football, you're not supposed to have these type of offers, right? Just a kid from Long Island, Preston is, but now, the entire SEC wanted him. He's making a great decision like this today, and so many other LI Elite players onto the next level. So, what's it like seeing, all those guys go on to the next level, and, of course, your son here today?
It's bittersweet. It's been a long journey, and like I said, we're celebrating every kid out there, every family who's been part of it, not just Preston. Preston's the tip of the iceberg. There's just so many kids that have come through, and I see them posting on their social media every achievement that they make and every little win at a camp. They're going away. A lot of these kids are doing camps, and they're living the blueprint that we talk about. And it's not Ben Carey. It's not just Long Island Elite. It's not just Gerald Filardi. I always say it's the culmination of ideologies, right? All these people, like-minded people, coming together and thinking the same, and really shattering the mold that for a long time Long Island was just about lacrosse. And now, guess what? There's a lot of football players coming out of there too.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's as you mentioned, all these guys here part of the Long Island Elite alumni base, which will be growing, and more names. Just so many we could fit on this graphic here. But Preston's journey started at a very young age. And one thing when we spoke that strikes me as him being a different type of player is he realized at such a young age what he had to do, like what this journey entailed, and what he had to give up, and maybe some fun things he had to not be a part of because of the regimen that was necessary.
Without question. Listen, he's always a big kid, right? If you have a big kid and you're the parent of a big kid, you always walk on eggshells at the playground because they're always knocking people over and banging them around. But more importantly than that, his size is just, you're right. There's been so many other things that have come into play in his journey. And it's been a pleasure to watch. It's been awesome. He's a hardworking kid, and his main goal, he's wanted to play in the NFL, right? At 5 years old, 6 years old, they say that, and you kind of laugh in their face. And then you see these milestones starting to be achieved along the way, and you see the kid turning into a giant, and like, wow, this could really happen.
And Ben, just like so many kids in your program, one of the things that I've noticed with Preston, literally from the first time I met him when he was in the 8th grade, not only extremely mature, but his character is off the charts. Yeah. It's really unbelievable. And he does, so many little things right. So, how much do you think that, of course, played a role throughout his entire life to this success?
It not only played such a big role to this point, but my understanding, right? Like, I learn stuff new every single day about this process, and from what I understand, I have 2 days after the draft, I had Drew Rosenhaus and Jason Rosenhaus calling me, and Forrest Lamp, and Peter Schoenthal from WME, and guys that are like involved in the draft. So they like start tracking kids this early, and I didn't realize how much the off the field stuff, how important that is for someone getting drafted, right? You just assume as a regular guy or fan that these kids go to play in the pros and they have all the perks and benefits that they do in college, and guess what? They don't. Like, you have to kind of have a good head on your shoulders and character and be able to manage your business and all of the things that that you don't realize when you're in the NFL, it's you. And your draft grade, from what I understand now, is largely reliant on your character. Like, they want guys that know how to run their business, have character, take care of themselves. But listen, we talk about all this in Elite. There's a million football programs out there, and I don't want to make a commercial for Long Island Elite, but we're all about relationships, good people, trying to teach kids how to do a handshake, right from wrong, how to tie a tie, stuff that some people think is silly, but today's day and age, it's really, really important. And when you're getting recruited in college, those college coaches, that's what they want to see. Fran Brown at Syracuse University, right? There's so many guys to name. Coach Smart, Coach Shiano, like these guys, they want guys with good character, and they have a lot of tough rules, so we get them ready for that.
Awesome stuff. Well, Ben, we'll let you enjoy the rest of
Thank
the
you guys
festivities
so much.
here tonight.
Hope you guys enjoy yourselves also.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
So we'll go from Ben, and we'll hand off, like we're handing the football off to Gerald Filardi, who's going to join us now on set. See some of the scenes from outside. Just like in your backyard, right?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's a similar
Yeah.
background we have here.
Yeah.
Dylan Butler, Jad Valuzzi, of course. Gerald Filardi.
How are
You wear so many hats, none right now, of course. You need your hair nice, but Half Hollow Hills, West, Dragons now, but of
Yes.
course Long Island Elite as well. And you have the distinction of coaching Preston when he was a young pup.
Yes, yeah, it was a pleasure. Preston always had something to him. Obviously, his size originally stood out. Like, this kid was the biggest kid. You know, I actually coached against him when he was 5 and 6. Ben and I did an event for the 5 and 6 year old age group, and then he was playing at Northport. And then when I started the Long Island Spartans, and then obviously eventually Elite. So probably around 10 years old, I started coaching him. And Preston was always committed as a football player. I could tell you, he'd come over and hang out with my son Joe, and he'd be bouncing off the walls. So it's amazing how we watched him develop and mature to a young man that he is today.
Yeah, and you had legendary career at Penn State. You have amazing knack for talent. Seeing Preston grow up. What are some of, I guess, kind of the traits where you saw within him where you're like, wow, this kid might be special?
Yeah, he just had he's had a knack for the ball. He tried. He was a quarterback at once.
Yeah.
And
Well, you were the first one,
yeah.
Ben said, to be like,
Yes.
we're going to go to the other side of football.
Yeah,
You're a defensive tackle.
Yeah. Listen, me being a defensive guy, kind of saw that a little bit first, that he was a defensive player. He played linebacker for me, but Preston at the time could play multiple positions. That was good. And he always took the coaching of just be a football player. Once he got over that hump of having a conversation with Ben about playing quarterback, and I was like, listen, I don't know if he could be a quarterback, and I'm not going to say he's not going to be a quarterback, but based on my experience, I think he's going to be on the defensive side of the ball, and he's going to be a defensive tackle, and that was what my prediction was.
Obviously, his choices, his Final Four, are of the level that you played at
Yes.
collegiately. What is it about Preston? Obviously, size is a big part, but
Sure.
but what else is it about him that you think he will succeed at whichever one of those 4 schools that he chooses?
That's the thing. Preston always fit that profile, and that's like passing the test on the paper. And that's what everybody looks off. But Preston's so much more than that. He's not just a big-sized kid. He's a committed kid. He's a determined kid, good work ethic. And I think that his drive is what has made him to get to this point and will continue with his future and his career.
Yeah, and one of the things that, I noticed with Preston, we mentioned it earlier, he went to those camps when he was in the 8th grade,
Yes.
Dominating, the older players. And, of course, he's had so many big games, and big-time moments. So when the lights are bright, it seems like he always just comes to play, right?
Yeah, Preston's a gamer, 100%. But he puts the time and the effort in and work in its preparation. He got the concept of practice makes you perfect. And that's the special thing about football. You practice all week long to play 48 or 60 minutes. That's the difference with the game of football. You're playing, practicing 5-6 days a week and then going out and play the game. And Preston has made that commitment to do that, and it's obviously showed. He's in a great situation.
When he's bouncing around your house a little bit, you're like, just please be careful with Joe.
Yeah.
We have a future. We have a plan for Joe as well.
Yes, yeah. No, so it's really special to see them and what they've done. Just not only as a dad, and Ben being as a dad, but coaching for me comes first, especially with sports. I don't coach because my son's like Preston's my son. He's it's just like all my players are treated that way. I don't, if anybody has it harder, it's my kids.
Sure.
So it was nice to see that they had that relationship and have it today. Syracuse isn't on the board, but that's okay.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy yourself here.
Yes, this is
at
great.
His commitment.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank
Great
you guys
stuff.
so much.
Joe
Appreciate
Filardi,
it. Appreciate it.
thanks so much for joining us. We'll
Thank
take a
you.
quick break, and we'll have more here from the Preston Carey College Commitment Ceremony.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Oheka Castle. That is not the entrees right now, although it is really much the main course. Underneath those, not fillets, right? Not the chicken, fish, or beef you might have in an event like this when it's a wedding at Oheka Castle. There are hats underneath each of those of the final 4 schools. And then when the ceremony begins, Preston will lift up one of those. He knows which one. We were told about that. But here are the 4 that he's choosing from: Auburn, Florida, Georgia, heavy SEC with those 3. And then representing the tri-state area, the Big Ten, Rutgers makes the final 4. Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi. Jared, we'll break down, right, the final 4, what to expect from those, maybe what Preston might like from those schools as well. We'll start with Auburn. It's a school that I think, like Rutgers, it has a similar vibe, but Auburn's a place where his sister Milan just graduated. So even if it's just going to see his big sister, right, being on campus, clearly he must have liked the feeling on being on campus, but also, look, football-wise as well, a really solid program.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, they won that national championship back in the day with Cam Newton. And, Preston says he loves how, Auburn's trying to build back up to that point, when they were on top of the college football world. He loved the vibe over there. He said it felt like family. And, it was only fitting that his sister went there. And, the defensive line coach, Vontrell King-Williams, he, was really fond of his story and has a ton of respect for his path. And they really formed a great relationship. And, Auburn in the top 4.
Yeah, so you see Auburn there, and joining Auburn, another SEC institution. We'll go to that now. It is Florida, right? You see their year a year ago. They're one of those schools as well. When you look at the ESPN 2026 college football recruiting class rankings, they are number 8. And there's an intriguing factor here as you see some of their measurables, if you will, from this past season. They have their top defensive prospect right now, a D end, Jeralian McCoy, right? Mississippi native, 6'7", 260. So now if you're Florida and if you're Billy Napier and the coaching staff there, you're like, listen, we can pair you. He's an end, you're a tackle, put you guys together. That's serious business.
Yeah, that would be a scary duo. Gator fans would be thrilled if they're able to, get Preston to join in with the University of Florida. And once he transferred to IMG, Coach Napier, man, was he happy because he got Preston to come to campus a ton. They've, of course, formed an amazing relationship, and the Gators as well in the top 4.
McCoy, number 9 ranked prospect in this class of 2026 by ESPN in there. ESPN, I think it's their 200. So, that could be, again, an amazing duo that you could have for a few years on your defensive line.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, Florida, they would really be able to build up that defense. And, you got those two in a couple of years. Man, it's going to be fun in the SEC.
Let's take a look at the next one. That is, of course, the Bulldogs of Georgia. We saw them play pretty late in the season last year, right? Losing in the national championship game or playing Notre Dame in the CFF, 11-3 on the year. It is a program that really develops talent, right? So we know getting to the next level and the level after that is super important to Preston Carey. Georgia is an intriguing prospect to do that.
Yeah, without a doubt. They've produced the most defensive linemen in the NFL draft the last 5 years. Preston, really drawn by that fact of things. And Georgia was a school that actually they came to Temple to see Preston in the 8th grade, ended up offering him, and they've been in touch ever since.
They are number 4 on ESPN's 2026 college football recruiting class. You know who their current top defensive prospect is? Justice Fitzpatrick. Remember Minka Fitzpatrick, St. Peter's Prep. Of course, went to Alabama. His younger brother, so he could be on that side of the football with him as well. So those are 3 of the 4. Who is the 4th one? They play on the banks of the Raritan. It is Rutgers University, and if there's a program that Preston knows better than most, it's got to be Rutgers, not only because they were in early as well. LSU had that first offer. Rutgers was not too far behind. Of course, Greg Schiano, a guy that he admires greatly. And then you got Ian Strong, KJ Duff, right? Yeah. His boys from St. Anthony's, part of that. Do they roll it back from that state championship team, right? Do they say, how about we get something here collegiately? A lot of good prospects at Rutgers.
Yeah, the Long Island connection really runs deep over there in Piscataway. And listen, Rutgers, you mentioned they've been on Preston for a while. He was going on game day visits there in 2022. And, of course, he said that they've been showing love since day one. And, he's been really excited with the Scarlet Knights.
So Rutgers has been on Preston from an early age, but a guy who has known him from an early age as well, Golden Acuna. And we'll have him as well when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Another look inside the room here as we get set for Preston Carey's college commitment. Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi, along with a gentleman who has known Preston, since maybe 5 or 6 years old.
For a while now.
Golden Acuna. You trained him. You're the co-founder of Peak Training Systems in Deer Park. Tell us a little bit about the process that you had with Preston. I know one thing, and I think it speaks to probably who you are as a person, but also what you wanted to see out of Preston. No kid gloves here, man. You were hard on him from a young age for a reason, though.
He definitely did get beat up for a while. So, first time of me seriously training Preston, funny thing is, it was supposed to be like an interview, like an introduction from his dad and him to trying to meet me to get him to work with me and whatnot. And he had like polo and the slacks on. You know how his pops always has the best dress to legit present himself, and he was ready to work that day. So me being the hard guy that I am, I made him train. So he's literally doing football drills and whatnot in a polo and slacks in 6th grade, and since that we've been together for a while. So happy for him. But again, this is literally just a checkpoint for him. Obviously, he still has a lot more work to do before he goes to one of these big schools. So literally, we have our foot on the gas for him. He actually just trained with me at 6 a.m. this morning, so he was getting beat up a lot. So
there we go.
100%.
Yeah, and Golden, anytime I talk to linemen on Long Island, they're like, I train with Golden, like everyone needs to go there. So, you've seen a lot of amazing linemen, worked with a lot of talented ones. But, when you first saw Preston, outside of his size, what do you think really made him special?
The biggest thing that made him special is, like, you could tell anytime anybody talks to him, he's still like a little kid. He's a sponge. So anything that he can legit learn, he legit wants to grasp and then push forward from there. So whether it's somebody telling him to wake up early, whether it's somebody telling him to take his stretches seriously, anything that he learns, especially from my older guys, he's literally soaked everything in and then literally kept on pushing himself forward to try to get that one up on people. So we have a lot of older guys there helping him as well, like a guy like Joey Slackman that's in Florida, John Mendoza that's from Louisville. Like, they keep the hardest legit standard to him, and they're surprised when he comes in and he answers all those questions for himself without even getting yelled at or scolded at. Obviously, me being hard, I'm going to scream at him for not doing anything perfect, but again, any type of information that he needs from somebody, he's literally took it and ran with it. So him being that sponge and not being so starstruck of how good he is and how all these offers are legit clouding a lot of kids' heads, he's been the most humble, and he's just ready to work at this point. He's almost addicted to the work more than he is pretty much anything else.
To that point, you were a guy who kicked his butt at an early age, right? Now it's the big time, right?
100%.
Whether it's the SEC or the Big Ten, a national schedule, the best of the best collegiately. You're going to watch him on Saturdays wherever he goes. What is it about him, and why do you think that he'll succeed at that level?
One thing that he's going to do really, really well is learn whatever that coach is going to offer him, because that was one of the biggest decisions from him moving forward, is legit having that coach help guide him to make him better as opposed to anything else. Like, he never really focused on playing time or whatnot. He just cared about learning. So the biggest thing for him, especially me and Coach Logan, his coach down at IMG, will talk about it a lot, is he needs to work his gap control. He needs to work hands. He needs to work smooth hips, not just be a bull rusher, because that's not going to work at the high level. So we'll train for about 2 to 3 hours, and he'll take an extra hour for himself to legit work on that handwork, his motions, his targeting, his hips, his gap control, and stuff like that you can't make up. You know what I mean? Something like him being craving to be a perfectionist, he's been doing for years now at this point. So for him to get that guidance from a trusted coach like Coach Logan and then come back to that with me and then have the room to actually train that, I can only imagine what one of these schools are going to do for him.
Awesome stuff. Golden, thanks so much for joining us,
No problem at all. Thank you guys for having me.
and enjoy the festivities.
I will. I appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll take another quick break. More from Preston Carey's college commitment here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
Welcome back to Oheka Castle. Here, there is Preston Carey as he gets ready to make a special commitment. Dylan Butler, Jared Veluzzi, joined now by Joe Buffard. And Joe, you know, we spoke to people who have trained him, who have coached him at an early age. You saw him as a talent evaluator at a young age as well. What did you think then, and what do you think of the way that Preston has developed?
Well, it's exactly the way we kind of projected in the dream kind of come true. So I worked for Football University, which is a technique training program on a national level. And we held camps in Connecticut, Long Island, and so forth. So Preston came in as a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader, played on Team Long Island in our national championship, and I saw that he was heads and tails above everybody else in his grade level. So we were able to elevate him in our freshman All-American Bowl that we hold every year down in Naples, and very few kids from, let alone the Northeast, the Connecticut, Northeast, the tri-state area. Well, Jersey gets quite a few kids, but not Long Island, not the New York City area, and it was great to be able to get Preston on there. And in my opinion, that putting him on that stage with that amount of talent, with the best freshmen in America all playing at one time, elevated his kind of real exposure because he dominated in that game against his peers.
Yeah, I was going to say, from, the camps that you saw him at to that day of, the freshman All-American Bowl, him going against those out-of-state guys, it seems like never really fazed him.
Well, that's the thing. The nice part is that, the kids at the FBU, whether it be at the Top Gun, which is the National Showcase, or the Freshman All-American Bowl, it allows the kids from those states that don't really have that much great exposure. And we think about, New York's a big state, but Long Island gets good exposure, but not great exposure when compared to Georgia, California, Florida, schools, states like that. So to be able to put a kid there and then dominate was exactly what he needed to really rocket his exposure on the recruiting ranks.
To that point, then, what do you think? Let's project forward, right? He's going to, in moments, pick from 4 excellent college programs, whether it's in the SEC, Big Ten. This is big-time college football.
No doubt.
How will Preston Carey, do you think, translate with his ability, his skill set, to that next level?
Well, listen, look at his size, his speed, his athleticism is great. But what's really going to transfer him is his character. And that is once the playing field of size, speed, and athleticism levels out, and it will at these schools. Yes, he may be a hair bit of a fraction or a degree more than because of his natural ability, but his character, his work ethic, he's going to be a captain in 3 years. Call it right now, whatever school he picks, he's going to be a captain. And I'm telling you right now, take my money. I'm putting them all in on that, all right? And he's going to be a big influence, whichever program he gets to. And I think that's going to transcend to on-the-field success as well.
Yeah, no, really, really excited to see that. And also, when you saw him, though, at a young age, just to see, the development and then him dominate in that freshman game, what was it like from 6th grade to then and then to now?
It was just great because, again, he was heads and tails a little bit bigger than faster, stronger than his peers at that 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level. And obviously, going to IMG really elevated it. But it was really just identifying those kids that that either have that special something genetically or behind them, or just understanding of the game that the average 6th, 7th, and 8th grade doesn't possess. And Preston had that, and it was just putting him on the right path early in his recruiting process to put him where he is today.
Ticks all the boxes.
It definitely does, 100%.
Joe, thanks so much for joining us. We'll take
pleasure.
another quick break as we inch closer to Preston Carey's college commitment here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Going, Israel Kunda, running back for the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
This is a room that a few moments ago, Jared, was quiet. There's a buzz now, a palpable buzz, as Preston Carey gets closer to making his official announcement. As we await this special moment, Dylan Butler alongside Jared Veluzzi. We showed you his player profile, right? But we had an opportunity to have some fun with Preston a little bit, right? Get to know Preston the person. So we'll show you a little bit about Preston. Favorite meal? Listen, he needs the protein, right? He's a growing boy.
No surprise there.
Steak and eggs, love it. Favorite NFL team, the Seahawks, Cam Hayward, right? Favorite player, his favorite movie, 300. And I love this, too, because it's a combination of two very different things, right? Fall camp at IMG and then winning that state championship at St. Anthony's, which of course was an incredible moment for Preston, for Ian Strong, for KJ Duff, for Dante Torres, for the Long Island elite alums as well. So a little bit about Preston, the young man, right? We like to have a little fun with that as well. So as we get set, you can see standing room only here in this room. We will send it over. I believe Errol is going to get this whole event started, right? Again, 4 schools to choose from, and Preston Carey will make that decision momentarily.
Please come to the front. All the names that I just called. All the names that I just called.
I don't want to zoom in because he's moving around. I'd rather give you a wider shot.
Blake Johnson. Blake Johnson.
All these people are going to be in here.
What's that?
All right, we'll switch, but you got to find a spot where you can be over there. Maybe just stand to the side. Just hold on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Errol Marks from the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, and we're here for a very special occasion, the commitment of Preston Carey. 58 colleges recruited this kid. 58. Top Power 5 schools recruited this kid. One of the best in the last 20 years to come out of Long Island. The Georgia Bulldogs, a school that was recruiting Preston since the 8th grade. He didn't have the resources to attend a football camp in Athens, but impressed Bulldog coaches during a workout at Temple, dominating high school juniors, seniors as an 8th grader, leading to defensive line coach Trey Scott and former defensive back coach Fran Brown to offer him a full scholarship instantly. Rutgers, who also recruited the Preston since 8th grade, ever since Coach Scott Vallone saw him at the FBU camp in New Jersey. After the camp, head coach Greg Shinano told Preston and his father they never give scholarships to 8th graders, but still ended up giving Preston a full scholarship.
Not yet.
Auburn, who started recruiting Preston after his freshman year, after helping St. Anthony's win their first ever state championship. He once again proved himself in camps, dominating players older than him, leading to a call from Tigers defensive line coach Vontrell King-Williams, while at dinner with his sister, who graduated from Auburn. And offered Preston a full scholarship. Finally, there is the Florida Gators, who had recruited Preston since 10th grade after his sophomore season. He was recruited to National Football Powerhouse IMG Academy, where he finished his high school football career. Head coach Billy Napier visits Preston 2 weeks after joining IMG Academy and offered him a full scholarship. Preston and his dad had visited all 4 schools multiple times and built strong relationships with everybody, showing great respect and professionalism before Preston makes his decision. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a one and only video, a short film from great cinematographer Jackie Robinson.
How old is that kid? What grade is he in? Where'd he come from? He's not the same age as all kids.
And he said he was going to have Division I offers before high school, and like you see it for the first time, and like, oh, that's cool. My son's working hard. He's goal oriented. And afterwards, you're like, wow, this kid is manifesting stuff.
Preston was 5 years old, and he said he was going to play in the NFL. And when a kid's 5 years old, and he says that, you kind of laugh about it. And then you see the development, you see him grow, and you see him turning into a giant, and certain things and certain milestones and achievements happening, you start to think to yourself, this is a real possibility.
Shots on the island, hotter than the summer. The winter couldn't chill me. Young, free, and wild.
Aristotle said once, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but an attitude. We have an amazing opportunity as humans, a choice to be great at something that you're passionate about, something that makes you remember what you're working towards, your why. I promise to myself, I will work hard, stay consistent, keep my path clear, and achieve all that I aspire. Particularly, I would like to thank my father for the countless hours he spent with me, whether it was as a coach in youth football or as a dad teaching me how to be a man.
it really just takes something special. It takes something inside a kid that I can't really explain as a dad or a coach.
Shot down in May, but I know I'm gonna change that tune.
He deserves to get those looks and the interest that he's getting, and he's not going to stop. He's not going to settle for anything else.
And I would just like to thank everyone. I might not have to mention every important name or every little person, but just know, you know who you are. I'm looking into this camera, and I'm so thankful for all of you. And with all that being said, for the next 3 or 4 years, I'll be going to.
All right. The moments we all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beast. Ladies and gentlemen, Preston Carey.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here and supporting me. Just want to let y'all know I'll never stop working hard and stay consistent and keep following great footsteps in my career. I'd like to thank every coach that recruited me to this point, every sponsor for the event, specifically Pro Player, Toronto Tuxedos, and East End Line Dalton. I appreciate you all, but we all know that you guys are here for one main reason, to see where I'm going to college. So with that being said, for the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be going to the University of Georgia. Go Dogs.
Let's hear it for Preston Carey, everybody! I want to hear the barking, ladies and gentlemen!
Yeah, Preston!
Now we'll get you on the other camera. We're good. Preston, first of all, congratulations. I'd imagine a process that started like 4 years ago with LSU and the schools that offered as an 8th grader. It has been a long process. How does it feel to finally end it with your announcement to the University of Georgia?
Feels really good. There's a lot of work to be done, though, and I'm just excited to get back in the gym and go back to work, because that's the only reason I am where I am today. So still a lot to be done, but
sure.
I'm thankful to be a dog, though.
What is it? I mean, look, any school you would have picked, an excellent place to go and play football, right? A lot goes into this decision. What was it about Georgia that ultimately it made you make your decision there?
Yeah, I think Trey Scott, like I said, not only has he been recruiting me since I was in 8th grade, but he's always shown love. He came all the way up from Georgia because I couldn't make it down there financially. I couldn't make it down to Athens for a football camp in 8th grade. And him and Fran Brown, former DB coach, he's a head coach at Syracuse now, they came up to Temple to scout me at a camp. And, I felt the love then because they came out of their way, you know what I mean? And they scouted me, they offered me then, and they believed in me since day one through all the ups and downs of my careers. And, they like I said, they just told me consistently, what I need to do better and what I do good enough to be an elite defensive lineman at the college level.
Dan Preston, of course, Georgia defensive lineman factory down in Athens, and now you're going to be a part of it. So, how does it feel to you're going to be playing for some special program?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm trying to hold my composure right now. 'Cause I could run through a wall right now, but I'm excited to get to work, like I said, and still got a big season coming up, senior season, and then get on campus in December and go straight to work.
What were those visits like? And you look at it. Minka's little brother is a Bulldog, right? He's part of this class as well. I'd imagine that's pretty cool too to be part of that with him and just all of what Georgia can bring.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a really great place, and I don't think I've said this yet. That one of the main reasons I came to IMG was because if you want to be elite, you got to go against elite competition and be in the room with elite competition every day. And I just feel like it's the same thing at Georgia. You're around elite players every day in your position room, and then you're also going against elite players. And I want to get to the highest level, so that's the only way to the top.
And Preston, we've been talking since, you were in the 8th grade, and, the journey that, you and your dad specifically have been on to get to this point, it's something special, but it's finally here. You're officially a Bulldog. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, looking back at those days to
Crazy.
now, I mean, it must be pretty nuts.
Yes, sir.
You're one of the schools obviously was Rutgers. They were on you at a very young age. Your boys are there, right?
Yes, sir,
Ian, KJ. Were they in your ear at all a little bit? Like let's run that state championship team back a little bit.
No, 100%. I just want to say right now, I appreciate specifically Coach Scott Vallone, Coach Ciano, and just everyone on the Rutgers staff. They showed a lot of love to me throughout the recruitment process, and it's one of the reasons they were in my Final Four, and I was really thinking about that could be home. But I appreciate everyone at Rutgers, but like I said, I'm a dog, and I'm happy to be a dog. I'm happy to work and grind with Coach Scott and Coach Smart and Coach Schumann. They're building something great, and they've done great things already. So,
and I think that's the thing too about your journey. It's never been for you an opportunity to just dominate. You want to make difficult decisions. You want things to be difficult for you.
Yeah.
Like you said, you could have stayed at St. Anthony's. Your comfort level was there. You go to IMG. It will be difficult, no doubt, at Georgia. But that's the way that you like it.
Yes, sir, 100%. I always look for a challenge. Even coming into St. Anthony's, the best team in the state the year before, and coming into that program and earning, a starting job and keeping that for 2 years in that program as a freshman and sophomore, starting on varsity, I've always looked for it. And then I leveled up, went to IMG, and now trying to make a name for myself and keep a name for myself at IMG. And I feel like the next challenge and the next good thing to do to challenge myself and get better was go to the University of Georgia. So.
Awesome stuff. And again, congratulations. I know it's been such a grueling process. There's so many things that you had to give up as a young man, right? And maybe not go to that party or not hang out with friends. You had an extra workout at 6 a.m. All of that is
funny,
for
funny you
like
say
today.
that. I was in the gym at 6 a.m. today with Golden.
He told us.
I had so much to do today. So, no, I really just wanted to take a second reflecting on that too. Really want to thank Golden O'Connell specifically. He owns Peak Training System now. He's done so much for me since the time I was in 6th grade. Whether I couldn't get a car ride home and I was in the facility till 10:30, and he was staying there with me talking about everything or whatever it was. I really, truly appreciate my trainers, because you push yourself and you want it, but they tell you what to do and they craft it for you so that you can get the right result. So I appreciate Golden, appreciate Ben Brokaw, and also Justin Cole, owns Revolution Athletics out east, and he's been around since the time I was little too. So.
Listen, Milan went to Auburn. Is she all right with this decision?
I don't think she's mad at it.
But no, awesome. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
And best of luck. We're all going to be rooting for you at Georgia as well.
Thank you so much, sir.
Preston Carey.
Go Dogs.
The current Georgia Bulldog. Awesome stuff, Preston.
I can run through a wall right now.
I believe you. Yeah. Just don't run through us. You could loop around.
All right. Yeah.
Great stuff from Preston Carey. And I think that will do it here from an amazing event here. Preston Carey.
Thank you, guys.
Georgia Bulldog. Thanks, Preston. Appreciate it so
Go
much.
Dogs.
Awesome stuff, Jared, huh?
Yeah, what a day.
And there you see the cake. Make sure Preston gets a nice corner slice there of that cake. Preston Carey, the Georgia Bulldog. That'll do it here from Mohica Castle. I want to thank our entire varsity media crew here, all part of the Preston Carey College Commitment on the Varsity Media Sports Network.